Well, as the Russell Westbrook to LA becomes official, there are other conversations that basketball fans are starting to have. Look, man, say what you want, and I'm a Lakers diehard. This is the third time LeBron James has been on a team with two other All-Stars. Like, Brody's going to make the All-Star game again. I know we switching conferences, but I believe that the Lakers are going to be really good in the regular season. I believe that, by the way. I'm not sure, and the more I think about this, I'm not sure if the Lakers are going to be a good playoff team. Not sure. But if you look at Russell Westbrook's history, he can dominate the regular season against the Eastern Conference by himself. You bring in LeBron James, who can dominate the Eastern Conference and most of the Western Conference with just another capable All-Star, let alone when AD's right. You talking about LeBron and AD, they dominated the regular season in the Western Conference year before last, right? Like, they were number one out West. You mix in the fact that they got Brody, who could dominate the Eastern Conference on paper, and I'm assuming that, like, the Lakers, to get it right in free agency, which I think they will be in LA, there are going to be guys that want to play with them on veteran minimum deals. The Lakers also do still have their mid-level exception to go get somebody around $8 to $9 million, by the way. And if they wanted to, I just want to throw this out there just for all my contract nerds out there, they could still bring in some big-name guy if they sign and trade with Dennis Schroeder, depending on where he ends up, right? Theoretically, you could still do that. I don't think it's going to be likely because that would be a huge tax bill. Only 4 guys on that Lakers roster right now under contract guaranteed to be Marc Gasol, not making a lot. But LeBron, AD, and Russell Westbrook are all making over $40 million. So, I mean, the chance of the Lakers doing that is just unlikely, even though it's the Lakers, the number one valued franchise in the NBA. But the conversation that we're having behind the scenes is, this is LeBron James' third time being alongside 2 additional stars. And the conversation that people are having is, what does this mean for LeBron James' legacy? Like, be clear, I think Brody has his problems. I think he's selfish sometimes with the basketball. And though I think the plays that he makes oftentimes are the best for his career, not sure if they're the best for a team that's trying to win big. And I have history that supports that with his recent runs or lack thereof in the postseason. I think the best scenario for LeBron and the Lakers was to be in this 2-star setup with him and Anthony Davis. They already won once. I believe a healthy LeBron and Anthony Davis could beat the Brooklyn Nets. I believe that, by the way. I believe a healthy LeBron James and Anthony Davis could beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Randomly, AD's pretty good at guarding Giannis by himself. Like, I believe that. I don't think they need a third star. I think they needed a good team around. I think the Lakers messed up 2 offseasons ago going and letting a Rajon Rondo walk, a Dwight Howard walk. Like, I think those were the big mistakes LA did. They had role players that were a lot better than what their contract would have said, right? But they jumped the gun. They went and brought in Dennis Schroeder. He didn't work out. Now, I do believe Westbrook works out a lot better with AD than Schroeder does or did, but I still don't think, all things considered, it's a great move. I don't. And it's going to hurt LeBron's reputation. LeBron will forever, no matter what happens, without a shadow of a doubt, be known as a guy that not only needed 1 star, because that's the history of the NBA. The Magics with Kareems, right? That's the history of the league. The Scotties with Michael Jordans, obviously. The Kobes with Shaqs. Like, that's the history of the NBA. 2 stars. LeBron's legacy will officially be he needed 2 additional stars to win. He needed a super team to win. That's his legacy. I'm not saying it's got to necessarily be a bad thing, but it is his legacy. Every time he starts losing, he's either got to leave to get around 2 more additional stars, or he's got to try to find a way to recruit. Now, he's finally in a situation. Remember, in Cleveland, he couldn't convince Chris Bosh and guys like that to come to Cleveland. When he went to Miami, yes, he got Chris Bosh to commit with him, and Dwayne Wade was already there. But keep in mind this part of it. Pat Riley and the Miami Heat ownership wasn't giving LeBron everything that he wanted, so he bounced again after a couple championships and a couple finals losses. He goes back to Cleveland and is finally able to get that super team in Cleveland, but it was playing in spite of, right? Then you lose Kyrie Irving. You try to do it with just Kevin Love. You get all the way to the finals, but realize it's just not enough to beat Golden State. And here we are in LA where LeBron's finally in the perfect spot to be able to say, hey, I want 2 stars and be able to get both of them, getting Anthony Davis after year 1 and now Russell Westbrook after year 3 in LA. So here we are. LeBron James now sees himself with 2 bona fide all-stars. Brody's a first ballot Hall of Famer, probably on the tail end of his prime. Anthony Davis should be entering his prime, but injuries have him feeling like a guy that's probably 32, 33 versus a guy that is in his late 20s. Y'all let me know, what does this do to LeBron James' legacy? I do believe the narrative, no matter what, even though he's won a championship with just Anthony Davis, will always be LeBron needed 2 stars. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it is a real thing. Let me know what you think. Comment box below. I'm out.